Thank you, Gloria. That was absolutely lovely. Lovely tribute. Apart from being one of the most sexy scores I've ever seen. Our next guest is, above all, an actor. He's a brilliant light comedian, stylish light comedian, and he has a wonderful warmth and charm on the screen or on stage. It's Mr. Barry Nelson, sitting right down here. Barry, did you have a line in Mary Mary which went something like, I don't mind being a bastard, what I can't stand is being such an inept bastard. Did you have something like that?
I'd hate to have an actor come and give a better reading than I did.
I've never forgotten.
All right. Those days at MGM, when it was the biggest, the best, more stars than there were in the heavens, and more disgruntled contract players who felt they should be moving along faster than they were. Well, Janet and I met. I had actually been to MGM before Janet, at least for a year, and then I played a lot of war pictures, playing soldiers, and I was given a citation by the United States government. I guess I can tell you that. It came through the mail and said, Uncle Sam wants you. And they handed me a uniform that wasn't anywhere near as good as the ones that the MGM Department of Clothing had given me. And when I came back, why, several actors had been built up. Not only that, but they'd been penciled in for the next year and a half. So that was tough. And Janet had a tough time. She came in, and we used to talk about these things. If she was discovered by Norma Shearer, as you heard, and that was because of her personality, and she had no dramatic training. I had dramatic training and no personality. Well, I tell you, no, I'd been 4 years at the University of California, and a scout from Metro saw me playing Macbeth, of all things. Talk about light comedian. And I had never played anything under 60. So I had to go through a whole period of infantile regression to get back to anything that I might get at MGM. But, well, Janet and I, well, how can I put this? We ran into, we had a, you know, Lillian Burns Sidney was on our side, and changed around, you know, the way, we didn't feel so much on the outside all the time, because if you're not riding high at MGM and you're under contract, it's not very pleasant. You have to go to the bank and cash your salary checks to be sure that you're really one of them. But Lillian Burns Sidney had helped a lot of people, and as the lovely Arlene Dahl said, we would get together, 4 or 5 or 6 of us there, and we'd learn a lot, and we'd have an enthusiasm, and it meant a great deal to us, and we'll never forget it. And I spoke with Lillian just 2 nights ago on a long-distance call, and she's just as sharp as ever, I'm glad to say. Well, the cynics might say that, oh, listen, all that's a lot of baloney, and what you should do is go to parties and be seen in the right places and so forth. You get the right script at the right time, everything will be all right. We went to a party, and It was given by Mervyn LeRoy, and it was very elegant. There was Hoagie Carmichael singing in back of us on the piano with a whole ring of people. Everybody was a star or a celebrity at this party. And Milton Berle doing card tricks. Everybody's telling jokes. And dressed to the hilt, very elegant. I hate parties like that. Everybody seems to know everybody else, but they don't know you. You know them, but you don't really know them. You know about them. You're on the outs, so to speak. And I noticed one man leaning against the wall, and he wasn't taking part in it. He was wearing an old leather jacket. And, of course, it turned out to be Howard Hughes. And he's been, for the last 20 minutes, looking at Janet. And Janet had gone to get a drink for us, and a man came over. It turned out to be Johnny Meyer, who was a gopher and a, let's say he recruited people. And he said, he leaned over, he had to do this fast, and he said, listen, how'd you like to do a movie? Australia. Emergency. You have to go right away, like now. I said, listen, I got 3 pictures, you know, it'll take me a year, and my plate is full, and thank you very much. So, all that finesse that he had. I wonder if I should have gone to Australia on that day. Oh boy. We went to another party, Elizabeth Taylor gave. And that seemed to be a step forward. A lot of young, kind of attractive people, and the little groups all doing something. But the first group we met, very nice, and asked us if we wanted to join them playing touch football. And we did, and I looked around after a little while. I couldn't find Janet at all, and Janet's a realist, and she knew she was never going to be a football player. And, but she got off with a group that was up to no good. They found a little boat. This is in Malibu, right on the ocean. And they were going to go out and do a little fishing, and brought her out there. And they went a little further and further, and the waves are getting bigger, and Janet's getting more and more uncomfortable. And the guy who was fishing fished up a squid. And, you know, they're not pretty. And they started pushing the squid over to Janet, because Janet's highly emotional, and they got a great big kick out of the reaction, and they didn't know they were finally putting her on almost total shock. And it took several hours, you know, for her to finally calm down. She said, you know, they should never go through by water again. So it was a real minefield out there. You never knew whether you were going to step on a squid or be tripped up by a Howard Hughes or things that go bump in the night. Now, there was a story of, I think it's apocryphal, I'm sure it isn't true, that she was at a big, she was in a dining room, and the person next to her ordered a big red roasted lobster, and the waiter tripped, and it fell right into her lap, and she got up, and she ran through this dining room, couldn't find an exit at all, and just said, help me, somebody, I've got to get out of here. everybody froze. Nobody did anything. No, what could they do? How do you let somebody off the QE2 in the middle of the ocean? No, I'm sure that didn't happen at all. Now, let me see now. Oh, I'd like to give you a little insight about Psycho. It was Perkins, you see, who he was in this old hotel, broken down kind of thing, and he had an urge. He had to go to the bathroom. And the men's room was bolted, closed, and out of order. And he went down the hall, and the only other thing was a bathroom, and he couldn't get in there. And he's getting desperate, and he sees a hatchet on the wall, fire hatchet, their emergency thing. He brings that down, he smashes down the door, and goes in, and all there is in there is a toilet and a shower, and, well, guess who's in the shower? And he's an uptight guy, and he's not going to share that bathroom with her. So he gets very angry, and he goes toward her with the hatchet. Now, the camera turns around, we see that Janet's going to go through this classic screaming scene. I don't know if you realize how difficult that scene is to do. Just try it sometime. Try screaming out and see if you can, make an effect. But Janet had worked it out very carefully. I believe what she did was a kind of memory recall. When she saw Perkins come toward her, she remembered the slinky squib and the monster lobster and the denizens of the deep. And Perkins was thrown by this. She did such a beautiful job that he was taken aback, and then he started to come on, and it wasn't, he didn't have any technique. It wasn't that, it was that he saw she was going to steal that scene. That's what he got mad about. She was not only going to steal the scene, she was going to steal the whole damn picture. And so he went at it, and it was so violent that even Hitchcock got up, and he had to stop. He got up and he said, "Cut, cut, cut, cut. You don't say that to a damn maniac who's got an axe in his hand." Anyway, it all came out all right, I guess. What happened is that she'd been, yes, I remember now, it was Perkins' psychiatrist in residency there who came in and separated everybody, and they walked Perkins off, and then I'm sorry to say that Our Lady was carried out. But the doctor was very good, and he patched her up, and he had 132 Band-Aids on her there, and it was a miracle of medicine, and thanks to Johnson & Johnson. Well, anyway, didn't mean it as a commercial. Anyway, anyway, I just want to say that I owed Janet a great deal. She became a major star, but she was more than a star. In my estimation, she was a major person, a major, major friend, and one that I'll never forget at a time in my life when I needed it. a friend like that. And as far as I don't go for any of this 25 years or 50 years in show business, because she exudes such youth that it's impossible to believe. And I think we all ought to meet, you know, in some historical place like, and decide some distant time when we might hold an actual 50th anniversary for her.